Hello everybody. So today I have presenting myself with a new video that is on ascending dorsal column tract. As we know that we basically have very much problem in the CNS tract, pathway, efferents, efferents. So I have thought of clearing some of the concepts so that you may have a better building foundation in the future. So before moving towards the ascending dorsal column tracts, it is necessary to have a quick review of transverse section of spinal cord. Here we can see that this is the TS section of the spinal cord. Here this is the white matter and this is the gray matter. The white matter reflects two parts, that is ventrally or anteriorly, and this is posteriorly. The anterior part is also known as the anterior white column. The posterior or dorsal part is known as the dorsal white column, whereas the lateral sides are also known as the lateral column respectively. The gray part is further divided into anterior gray horn and posterior gray horn. Now we can see here some of the nerve fibers which are also known as the afferent nerve fibers, because dorsal gray horn is principally responsible for receiving the afferents from the periphery and sending them to the CNS, whereas these type of fibers which supposed to be related to the anterior gray horn are known for carrying the efferents from CNS to the periphery. Now here we can see that this is from inside to outside. If we are moving, the gray color structure is known as the pia mater, which is the innermost meningeal layer. The hollow space is known as the subarachnoid space. So we can see here the solid boundary is known as the subarachnoid matter or arachnoid matter. The gray line which is situated on that boundary forms the subdural space. The subdural space is situated between the arachnoid matter and the outermost meningeal layer, that is the dura mater. So this is known as the subdural space, whereas the outermost grayish boundary is known as the dura mater. So outside the dura mater is the epidural space, which consists of fat, tissue, fascia and vessels innervation. Since this is the bone, so the collection or the structure between the bone and the epidural space is the periosteum. Now we can see there are two types of tracts depending upon the information which is being carried, like ascending tracts taking the sensory or the efferent information, and descending tracts taking the efferent information. So here all the ascending tracts are principally marked with blue color. As we can see here, we are going to only see three principal type of ascending tracts which are important and had to be noted down. So today we are going to discuss about the medial lemniscal pathway. So first we'll take over with the medial lemniscal pathway, which is basically a part of dorsal white column tract. Before proceeding towards the further information, I would like to tell you to note a point, that is all type of ascending and descending tracts are passing through the area of white matter and nothing has to do with the gray matter. So now moving on to the medial lemniscal pathway, which is primarily a part of dorsal white column. We have two principal types of fasciculi or nucleus which are responsible for carrying the efferents. This is the posterior commissure. So more medially is fasciculus gracilis, which takes the information from the sacral and lumbar portions. This is better to remember, like gracilis is the muscle located in the medial compartment of the leg. So more medial is gracilis, therefore more medial to the posterior commissure is fasciculus gracilis. Followed more lateral to the fasciculus gracilis is fasciculus cuneatus, which is responsible for carrying the sensory information or afferents from the thoracic and cervical parts respectively. So this part of arrangement from where the sacral, thoracic, cervical means the information is carrying out from medial to lateral, is flowing from medial to lateral, from sacral to cervical region. So this is known as the somatotropic type of distribution. Now we have to move towards second type of tract, that is known as spinocerebellar tract, and third is spinothalamic tract. If we imagine a lateral view of the brain, we can imagine the thalamus acquires the central position of the brain, whereas the cerebellum is lying more laterally to the thalamus and rest of the brain. Therefore, spinothalamic tract is lying more medially in comparison to the spinocerebellar tract. Now we have two types of spinothalamic tract, anterior and lateral. So anterior will be located in the anterior white column, whereas the lateral will be located in the lateral white column. Now spinocerebellar tract, as cerebellum acquires the lateral position, so both the types of anterior and posterior spinocerebellar tract occupies the lateral white column. The anterior one will be located and will be related to the anterior white column, and posterior will be more related to the dorsal white column. So here we have sum up with the gross idea location of the all types of ascending tracts. In addition, there are other types of ascending tracts like spino-reticular tract, spino-olivary tract, spinotectal tract. There's one more tract like cuneo-cerebellar tract, which has been taken in posterior spino-cerebellar tract and need not to mention individually. Now, the medial lemniscal pathway, we are talking about taking a particular type of sensory information or stimuli. They are fine touch, pressure, 2-point discrimination. 2-point discrimination is that if I am trying to compress any area of my skin, for example with the compass having 2 ends or 2 legs, then I must be able to differentiate that there are 2 different sides which are being compressed, which are being touched. This is known as 2-point discrimination test. Vibrations and proprioception. Proprioception is the sense of position of one's with respect to surroundings. Now, if we have to carry a particular type of stimuli, there are specialized areas or organs from where the sensory information is being sent. There are 2 principal types of areas, that is skin and skeletal muscles. So if we have particular type of information, we have particular type of nerve fibers, and we have particular type of receptors that are responsible for collecting all these type of stimuli. These specialized type of receptors in skin are known as mechanoreceptors. There are various types of mechanoreceptors which are responsible and helping in medial lemniscal pathway. Like here we can see all the layers of the skin, like epidermis is superficial, dermis is more deeper to epidermis. We can see more superficially lies the Merkel's disc and Meissner's corpuscles. Meissner's corpuscles are responsible for fine touch as well as 2-point discrimination. Merkel's disc are responsible for fine touch as well as superficial pressure, whereas more deeper to the dermis layers lies the Ruffini endings, so therefore they are responsible for detecting stretch and deformation in the joints. More deeper lies the Puxinian corpuscles, more deeper layers of the dermis, therefore they are responsible for sustained pressure, deep pressure as well as vibrations. So if you are touching your skin with a tuning fork, then the skin will detect the changes or will detect the vibration with the help of mechanoreceptors called Puxinian corpuscles. Here we are not talking about claws and bulbs because they detect cold, which is a variation in temperature, and it is not the property of medial lemniscal pathway. Now we have talked about specialized organs for sending the sensory information, one of which is muscle. which is skeletal muscle. So specialized type of receptors that will detect the stretch tension in the skeletal muscle are called as proprioceptors. There are two principal types of proprioceptors, that is muscle spindle and Golgi tendon organs. Here we can see that the periphery of the muscle fibers forms the extrafusal fibers and the central part forms the intrafusal fibers. These intrafusal fibers together forms the muscle spindle, which is one type of proprioceptor, whereas Golgi tendon organs are located in the tendons, which perform the function of connecting muscle to underlying bony structures. So we have two types of proprioceptors, that is muscle spindles and Golgi tendon organs. Now these are innervated by motor neurons as well as sensory neurons. So we have alpha and gamma type of motor neurons. Alpha are the fastest, motor are the slowest comparatively. Gamma motors are slowest. Alpha ones innervates the extrafusal part of the muscle and gamma innervates the Golgi tendon as well as the intrafusal or the muscle spindle part of the muscle. Now there are different types of sensory nerve fibers as well that will receive the information. These are of three types: A, B and C. A are more myelinated, therefore they are the fastest. C are poorly myelinated or unmyelinated, therefore they are slowest. B type of fibers have moderate myelination, therefore they have moderate speed and conduction. A type of fibers have further classification of A alpha, beta and delta. A alpha type of fibers are fastest, therefore they innervate the intrafusal part of the muscle and Golgi tendon organs. Whereas other types of sensory stimulation like pressure, touch, vibration, 2-point discrimination are carried by the B type of fibers. Now proceeding towards the medial lemniscal pathway as a raw view. Then we will add some minor details in the further slides. First of all, we can see here the sensory efferents coming from two major organs, that is skin and skeletal muscle, via specialized mechanoreceptors and proprioceptors respectively. They reach to the dorsal root ganglion, where the first order neurons have begun, and they reach to the dorsal gray column, from where they reach to the dorsal white column. Now depending upon the TS of spinal cord, whether it is cervical above T6 or whether it is lumbar below T6, if we are considering the cervical part of information, then these first order neurons are supposed to pass from the fasciculus cuneatus, which is located more laterally. If it is lumbar, it will pass more medially from fasciculus gracilis. They ascend upwards into the brainstem. From below to upwards we have medulla, pons and midbrain. On reaching the medulla of the ipsilateral side, just behind the posterior surface of the medulla, just behind the pyramid, they synapse with the second order neurons at the nucleus gracilis and nucleus cuneatus, and these second order neurons, they travel to the center of the medulla, they cross over and they pass to the contralateral side of the brain. So the point to be noted is that at the spinal cord, the fibers are traveling on the ipsilateral side, whereas at the medulla they pass through the contralateral side. Now these fibers, they travel as the fascicula of medial lemniscus upwards through pons and midbrain to the nucleus of medial lemniscus, and then they simultaneously reach to the ventroposterolateral part of the thalamus. From there they are sent as corona radiata into the somatosensory cortex area of the brain. Now here we can again see a picture. Here we can see different types of mechanoreceptors. These are the skin cells. All are being sent to common type of fibers, that is B type of fibers, and this is the proprioceptors carried out through different type of fibers. They reach via first order neurons into the dorsal gray column. At the lumbar level, at the cervical level, there will be fasciculus cuneatus and gracilis respectively. They reach and synapse at the nucleus cuneatus and nucleus gracilis, and then second order neurons travel to ventroposterolateral part of the thalamus. There the third order neurons travel and pass through the posterior limb of the internal capsule, and then they spread as corona radiata into the somatosensory cortex area of the parietal lobe. Now this is in the picture below we can see the parietal lobe. In the picture above we can see there is a central gyrus, and the area posterior to the central gyrus is the post-center gyrus area. In the more larger view we can see here the red one denotes the motor cortex and blue one denotes the somatosensory cortex. The more medial part of the somatosensory cortex is primary somatosensory cortex or area 1, and lateral is somatosensory cortex area 2 or secondary somatosensory cortex. Now we can see here the picture of the homunculus structure, which also follows a somatotropic distribution, which means that there are specific areas which receive the specific somatosensory as well as the motor innervations from different parts of the brain and the organs. If we move from medial to lateral, then it starts from below to above. That is, more medially will receive information coming from foot, leg, knee, moving more laterally towards trunk, shoulder, arms, elbows, fingers, thumbs, then moving to neck, face, eyebrows, eyes, lips, tongue. Then more central comes the intra-abdominal muscles or visceral muscles are also receiving the innervations from here. So as we have come on the conclusion, we can conclude easily that medial lemniscal pathway is a dorsal white column type of ascending tract that takes the stimuli like superficial deep pressure, fine touch, 2-point discrimination, proprioception, vibrations, and they are specialized type of mechanoreceptors and proprioceptors from skin and skeletal muscle. They are sent via fasciculus gracilis and cuneatus to medulla on the ipsilateral side. At the medulla they cross over at the contralateral side, then emerging as the fasciculus of medial lemniscus, they pass through the nuclei of medial lemniscus along pons and midbrain, and they reach at the VPL part of the thalamus, from which they pass over to the somatosensory cortex area of the parietal lobe. If you like the video and it has helped you to clear some of your concepts, then please like it, comment in the comment section, share as well as subscribe. Also press on the bell icon for further notifications. Stay tuned for the next videos. Thank you.